Hello, guys.
Hello, guys. Hello from the other side, from the lockdown, from the quarantine, from the middle of the nowhere, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like,
Uh,
we've been several weeks into the quarantine, and so we've decided to discuss the common challenges and issues that you might be having when working from home, and if it's really difficult or are you really enjoying it? Who knows? So, the topic of today's podcast is challenges of remote work and how to keep it organized. And I've been doing some research for this episode. And what I actually did is I collected the common issues and challenges that most people experience when working from home, especially those people who aren't freelancers and who are not used to working from home for a long time. And this maybe is like a unique experience for them now, and they have to adjust. So I put together a list, and in this list, I named some of these common challenges, which are working around with your significant other or kids. It's fighting depression and anxiety or just mental health issues that some people are having during this situation we're in. The next challenge is not having a proper workspace, like a comfortable place to work. And the fourth challenge is being productive, like how to stay productive, how to prioritize your tasks, and even though you sometimes may not be able to do them or get yourself to actually work. So, what do you think about those four? Let's start discussing with the first one, like working with your significant other and kids, like around them, like
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
how to
And
cope it.
the first thing that I wanted to point out is that, well, definitely all the four of these things are kind of connected. They kind of intersect with each other, and definitely the first three, like, that you've mentioned is like having a lot of people around that you weren't around before and that are not used to you being at home the whole day and also working, especially if you live together with somebody, with your significant other, with your kids, with your parents, whatever, and they don't have to work, but you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for them to get used to the necessity to give you that personal space for you to work. And the second one was, yeah, of course,
Mental health issues.
mental health. That, yeah, and what I wanted to say is that, well, it can be pretty tough. Such a drastic change to your lifestyle. Of course, it impacted a lot of people, especially given the fact that a lot of us are not sure about our future, about our financial stability, and the world economics and all that kind of stuff. The world is going down, and that kind of thing. And of course, a lot of us are feeling kind of unsure about our future. This also impacts a lot our mental health, our well-being, our mental well-being and stuff like that. And the third option, the workspace, all that, of course, negatively impacts and affects our productivity. And of course, those all are connected. And today we're gonna try and break those down and discuss all of these issues that are coming up, and we're gonna try and give you a couple of tips and tricks that we came up with ourselves, and also we talked about to our friends and coworkers, how are they coping. Of course, yeah, all coworkers at TemplateMonster, how they all are coping with all of these issues. And if you guys have your experience, you want to share your experience in the comments, it will be super great. We'll be grateful for that. Of course, we always are excited to hear from you and hear your thoughts and ideas regarding what we're talking about in our videos and the podcast episodes, definitely. So let's start with the first one. It was working around your family or the people you're living with, like your roommates or your family members.
Yeah, I guess that the most challenging thing is working around the little kids because, with grown-ups, you can't really ask them not to bother you for some time, and I guess they will understand. But with kids, it's very difficult because they have their own schedules, especially little kids, like they want to sleep at their own time, they want to eat at their own time, and this doesn't really correspond with your working schedule. And so a lot of people who have been asked this question, like my friends and my colleagues, they told me that they try to find these hours whenever their kids are asleep, or whenever they will not be bothered, like maybe asking their spouses to take care of kids, maybe some to play with them or to feed them while they're working. So they're kind of trying to squeeze their work routine in between those activity phases their kids are having. So this is crazy for me, I guess, because I don't have kids myself, but this totally makes sense if you look at this from their viewpoint, you know.
Of course, it's.
What do you think?
I think it might be pretty stressful because you're kind of feeling torn between that feeling that you have to provide the care and your free time for your kid, but you also have your responsibilities at work and you have to earn money as well, and you're kind of feeling torn between these two feelings, which is super frustrating. At least it would be for me. It would be because I don't have kids yet as well. But I kind of feel for the people who are experiencing that, and I've talked to the friends of mine who have children, and especially who have really small children, because I think it might be kind of a little bit easier when the kids are older, like 5 years old or 6 years old. They have different needs that are a little bit easier to be addressed, right? But when it's still a small kid and they really need your attention. Especially if the kid cannot fall asleep if you're not like holding it. And I've heard this trick from a friend of mine. She has a standing desk, and she likes working like that. And her daughter, she cannot fall asleep if she's not holding it. So she takes this thing. How do you call it when, like,
Sling?
Probably. You kind of attach a baby to your body, to your torso, and it's kind of hanging in there. And so this is the only way her baby can sleep while she's working. So she kind of hangs the baby in here, just attaches it here, and just keeps working, and it's all fine, and everyone is satisfied. I don't know. It's not really relevant, but I just think it's a funny trick that I've heard and just wanted to share it. Sorry if it wasn't relevant.
Well, why? It is relevant, actually, and speaking more of the productivity thing, a lot of people are not trying, but they keep kind of this responsibility as workers, as employees, to be productive. And so a lot of time, when their relatives are getting in the mix, they're kind of, bickering about not being productive and not being able to perform as many tasks as they would when they were at the office. And so I also heard that it's quite relevant to make like a small to-do list of tasks. For instance, you can manage to do today, for example, like not overload yourself, but try to squeeze these tasks that you're doing into this routine so that you still do at least 2 or 3 meaningful tasks for this particular day, but you're not feeling not productive. Well, you got the idea, I guess.
Yeah, I did. So, yeah. Well, definitely, while being here in the lockdown, like having to work from home, first of all, not a lot of people have already experienced it. If you're a freelancer, or if you were a freelancer for some time, or if you had to work from home, like, I don't know, for some other reason, for like at least a couple of weeks, you already have this experience, and it comes a little easier if you already know what to expect, that we have to cope with, the worse productivity level, more distractions, more distractions. I'm saying that you have more things to do. When you're at work, you have your PC and you have a coffee machine. That's it. You just have no other choice. But at home, you have a ton of other things, like your PlayStation, like another family member to talk to, or something like that. So it's a lot easier for people who have already experienced that. But for somebody who who is actually faced with this for the first time might be quite frustrating. But my tip would be to try and test out as many productivity tricks as you can. There's a ton of them, and if you just Google productivity systems, things like Pomodoro or things like, as Irene mentioned, productivity list, tasks list, to-do list, all these kind of things. There are a ton of these systems, and you can test them out, test out multiple things, and find out what works for you personally, because everybody's different and everyone's way of working is different. So yeah, if you still haven't figured this out for yourself, it's the right time to do it. What else? Working with relatives around. When somebody's around, not kids but adults, how do you cope with that? When you have your significant other, or you have your mother-in-law, your brother, your sister, and everyone wants to talk to you at the same time because they kind of forget that you are, hey, I'm at work, please.
Well, I guess that with adults it's easier because you can ask them not to bother you for some time, but sometimes it doesn't really work for you. So maybe you could find some place of isolation within your apartment or house if it's possible, and just ask them not to bother you for some time. But this is challenging, really, especially when you're locked down with all of these people together, because, for instance, a freelancer, if there weren't a quarantine, you could go to a cafe or, like co-working and just sit place and work there. But here it's really challenging, and you really need to, prove your point that this is important, that you work and not bothered.
Yeah, and about the personal space thing. I've heard someone, Earl, right? It's our coworker
right.
here at TemplateMonster, and we talked with him about it just a couple of days ago. And what he said was that, yes, I desperately need some personal space because I have a ton of people around. And what I'm thinking about is moving to a balcony when it gets warmer. And I just cracked up. I was like, oh yeah, it would be perfect. Too bad I have my balcony, there are bikes, there are like some old furniture and stuff like that, so not the best option, definitely. But it sounds like a good option. So if you have a balcony, or maybe you have some area of your house where nobody's really hanging out in there, I think it's a good option to temporarily move to that space where it's a little bit more secluded, Okay, so this is the first part. Like, we're done with the tips, and if you guys have something to add, please feel free to write your tips in the comment section down below. Okay,
the next was fighting anxiety, mental health issues, and whatever insecurities about the future you might feel right now, because some people tend to focus on the negativity thing, and this is just in their characters, so you can't really do anything about it. But I guess that finding some sort of a distraction or an escape for you can be a good thing to do, and just get your mind off these bothersome thoughts. So maybe playing video games could be an option. But I'm not really into playing video games, but sometimes I can play for a couple of hours just to get distracted. What do you think? Is this a viable option for people?
Well, I do think that okay, I just think that it depends. I think it's a really hard question to answer. It's very tough. It's a very tough topic in itself, like mental issues. It's very tough to talk about, even
absolutely.
Even if it's okay, everything is okay in the world and around you, but when everything is kind of crazy around, everyone is freaking out around you, and there's also a hurricane going on inside of you. It's even worse. So what I think is that, first of all, there is nothing to be ashamed of if you feel the need to go and ask somebody for help, like a therapist, like maybe some of your close friends, or maybe some of your relatives who you trust and who you can talk to about this. It's it's completely normal if we feel insecure, if we feel stressed, if we share these feelings with the people around, and if we get some sort of support from them. I think that's a way to go. Distractions, if you feel like it will help you feel better, then yes, but it's not like you have to do it. You have to distract yourself and watch Netflix and play games, and but if it helps, I think yes, sure, but don't overdo it, definitely, because it's never a good thing.
The problem is that absolutely. The problem is that you can't get distracted all the time. And so there is a moment when you need to go back to the world and just face all of the challenges that it presents. But at the same time, I've been reading a lot about this because I myself have been feeling a lot of like issues and insecurities about the future lately. And so psychologists believe it's good to find a place or a thing that you actually can control, and like feeling of being in control of something in your life can actually help you regain the stability and fight the anxiety for a little bit. Like if you know that you can control the time you're having breakfast at, for example, or like some of these trifles, that maybe this can help you fight all of these negativity. And I agree with that. I believe it's working as well.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like I think if you there are multiple things you can try out and figure out for yourself what works best for you, because everyone's different and everyone is feeling different feelings. Everyone is stressing about different things, because I'm worried about one thing, you're obviously worried about different things, so maybe the coping mechanisms will also look a little different. But I think that the method that you've shared, it's a good option to try as well, because it might work, because we're all in a situation that we can't control. So what else can we do if we just all freak out, stress out, and get more and more anxious about it all, and just, I don't know, just go and talk about it to everyone and go and just be upset all the time. It's
only making
it's not a way
things
out.
Worse. Yeah.
Yes. So we all just gotta, relax a little bit and, kind of accept the fact that we cannot do anything with the situation. And if you cannot do anything about the situation, then there are two ways you could go about it. The first one is to try and find something positive about it, just for yourself to kind of come to terms with it, right? Mm-hmm. There are some positive things about the situation. Maybe there's one thing, maybe there are multiple things, but there are always at least a tiny little thing that you could, even make up this thing. It could be only like in your mind, but whatever. If it helps you, then it's good. And the second, so the first way is find something good about it. And the second way is you cannot change anything. So it means like you could, use this situation to your advantage. Try and use this to your advantage. And, you have a lot of free time. Okay, what can you do with free time? Because I don't have a lot of work coming in, so I'm losing money, which is actually true, which is a fact. So what can you do with your free time? You can go and learn. You can go and spend time with your family. You can go and up your skills. You can take a course. There are a ton of courses, even more courses than before, and a lot of them are given away for free for you to learn. So yeah,
absolutely. And maybe just some basic things that you never have the time to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe something about the house, or learn some cooking. I don't know, not in the professional way, but maybe in some utilitarian way, the things that you've never managed to have the time for, and now you can actually do something about it and skill up this way as well. Or maybe some treat yourself, have a bath or learn some makeup tricks. My friends are obsessing about this right now, so I don't know,
Okay.
to each their own. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, we're
I
not
guess.
therapists, so I cannot say that, well, it's some professional advice, but, to the, as much as we can, we just try and kind of cheer you guys up, so you're not feeling too lonely with what you're feeling, because we're all feeling the same, pretty much the same right now, especially if you're in the creative industry or if you're in tech or IT industry. Well, the picture is pretty similar, really. So if you guys have something to say, like, shout out in the comments. We're reading the monitor in the comments, we're replying to all the comments, so if you have something to say, just please do. Next one, what's the next section, next part?
Not having the proper workspace. So it's really challenging, not only for your mind, but for your body as well, because really I find it challenging because I don't have like a proper desk to work at, and I started feeling my back is just cracking a lot lately. So I guess I should, do more exercise, because I'm not having a proper desk anytime soon, I'm afraid. So this is challenging. And actually, I've been reading about this a lot, how you can deal with the situation if you're not having a proper workspace. And so people are saying that maybe you could find a place that is separated from your living space, and maybe just, like with this pretending it is being separated, it's still good, because you don't work where you actually sleep or where you eat. So this creates this kind of attitude, like work attitude, professional attitude for you. And another girl, like, I've been reading a blog, and this blogger, she said that it's good to keep all of the necessary things you need for work around you, so that you can, reach out and grab them if you need them, and not run around the house and just, looking for them. So this is obvious, but I mean, a lot of people keep forgetting about this, and, just keep drowning in all of this mess when they're at home, because they're feeling comfortable and like, a little loose. So maybe this is good as well. What do you think about this?
Well, I think that it's kind of related to the productivity problem that we'll be talking about a little later. We'll be talking about this as well. Yes, definitely. And the issue that you mentioned before that, talking about some physical issues, like your body feeling feeling numb after a couple hours sitting on a super uncomfortable couch or super uncomfortable chair, or not having a proper desk, not having a proper, proper furniture to sit on, which is not healthy. We all have in sedentary lifestyle. We're all already it's not healthy in itself. Like, it's already not healthy. It's already harmful.
Yeah.
And while sitting on a furniture that is not made for people to sit on for a long time and also sit in a certain position, it's even more harmful. So what you could do about it is, as you've said before, go and exercise, go and stand up more often. Talking about the productivity systems that we mentioned before, there is a productivity system that you set for yourself certain periods of time where you have to work with no interruption, with no distractions, like work for, say, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, as long as you're comfortable, and then take a break for 10 minutes and go have a walk. Do exercises, do squats, sit-ups, push-ups, whatever, just to, kind of feel your body and feel like a little more relaxed and don't feel that stiff from sitting. What else? Of course, you gotta drink more water. It's like always, especially if you spend a lot of time indoors, and even if you don't have a lot of physical activity, well, it will kind of make you stand up and walk at least to the bathroom. Like this is the pro tip. What else could you do? Talking about that, about the super uncomfortable chair again. I have a friend who she also has to work from home, as we all do, and she doesn't have any proper workspace, as many of us. and she has to work somewhere in the kitchen at the kitchen table, then like sitting on the couch, then sitting on the floor and something like that. And we're talking the other day, and she said like, hey, I tried this thing when I just took like a stack of books and boxes or all the kind of stuff and put them on the shelf and put my laptop on top, and I just could stand. It's just pretty short, so for her it was easier. Maybe if you're taller it will be a little bit more challenging. But she could stack a couple of things and just put the laptop on top of it, and she could stand and work. So she created this sort of a standing desk for herself, like DIY standing desk, you know. So
yeah, but that's a cool thing. Actually, your point about those like focus sprints, they're called. There's a technique. Well, different people like name it differently. Some of the people I know are actually using the Pomodoro tracker or Pomodoro timer. It's like 20-minute sprints, and then you have breaks in between. And I recently found this focus sprint technique, which is 90 minutes of uninterrupted work and 20 minutes of breaks. And so what I wanted to point out is that taking regular breaks is actually very important, because, you know, people are used to working or like doing a lot of tasks just in one take, in one sitting. And this is harmful because you're actually like wasting your energy. And apart from all of this situation that's being quite distressful, and you are wasting energy, even though you don't really, you know, like think about it. But you're also like wasting your energy by not resting properly. And so this is important to, you know, take regular breaks and get distracted on other things, like maybe walking your dog, because this is not forbidden yet. And or just go out to your balcony, or I don't know, read a book, just watch some videos on YouTube, whatever is good, whatever is fitting for you. But just keeping your mind off work for a while, I guess that's another important tip we should follow.
Definitely, for sure, taking breaks is important, and it's actually even believed to increase productivity, because a number of my friends who are designers and other folks in the creative industry, they all say that, okay, I am overwhelmed with work. I always have a ton of tasks coming in, and once you finish one task, you always have another thing to do. And you know, it's always like this. You always have multiple projects running at the same time, and it's really hard because you feel like, okay, I have to meet all the deadlines, I have to do all the tasks, and they have to be, you know, the best person, the best worker, the best, you know, and I have to do everything in time, so I can't waste my time. And I just, it's really hard even for me, so yeah, it kind of sounds, you know, kind of sounds funny that I'm giving this kind of advice for people while I'm still not really good at this. But anyways, this is what I want to learn how to do as well. So what we all should be doing is actually taking breaks, and remember that when we are taking a break, we're not wasting time, we're recharging, we're getting back our energy that we wasted, that we spent on our project and the work that we love to do, but we need to get that energy back. And a lot of my friends, they're saying that, hey, I feel like I'm overwhelmed, I feel like I have no ideas, my creative flow is just, you know, just shut down, I cannot think of anything. I'm looking at this blank page and I cannot come up with any ideas right now. And they say like, hey, if I go and I take a break, I go for a walk, I talk to my friend on the phone for like 15 minutes or so, we discuss some random stuff, some TV show or something absolutely random, and then I get back to work and suddenly I have something to work with. I have, you know, my mind has relaxed and I feel a little bit more, you know, I feel a little easier. I don't feel... Okay, don't be that hard on yourself. Taking a break is a good way to put yourself together, to recharge and get even more productive. That's it.
Yeah, actually, you've just said it. Another great tip is go easy on yourself, because, you know, a lot of people are really really focused on some high priority tasks, and sometimes they're just feeling drained and they can't let themselves go because they think that this way they're not being good employees, they're not being as productive as they used to be while working in the office. But the problem is that the rules have changed and we're still adapting to these new conditions, so we can't really go hard on ourselves, and we need to do things as much as we can to let ourselves rest, let ourselves recharge, and just let ourselves go a little bit, maybe. Like, this is maybe not the best advice you wanted to hear, but sometimes we really should go easy on ourselves, and I do think it's valid. We also can talk a little about prioritizing work, because maybe some people are experiencing these kind of issues. What do you think?
I think
do we still have the time?
Okay, let's check with the timer. Oh, it has been like 30 minutes. So I think that we can quickly just mention a couple of techniques that we've researched for this podcast. We tried out a couple, but not all of them, so we can also give the feedback about a couple of those and really quickly go over them, so you guys can read more about them and maybe try them out if you like how they work, if you like the premise. But so let's talk about a couple of techniques that we've found you could help you during the remote work thing.
Actually, what I've researched is the Eisenhower matrix, which is, I guess, familiar to a lot of people. But the thing is that there's this matrix and it has axes. And so you should move your tasks along this axis, judging by the urgency and the importance of each task. So, for instance, there could be like important tasks, but not urgent ones, and vice versa. There can be urgent tasks, but not like as important. So you can really analyze which is like more like prioritize these tasks, which is the most urgent, and do it first, and then like push the other tasks along this axis and fulfill them according to their urgency. So I guess you could read about this a lot online. And so the Eisenhower matrix, and the other one is Warren Buffett's strategy, which actually is focused on the top tasks that you have. It also helps prioritize. Well, the backstory of this technique is that Warren Buffett asked one of his employees to write top 25 goals for the next year, and out of those top 25 things, he asked him to choose top 5, like the most important things that he was thinking of doing like in the nearest future, and then the other 20 which were left, obviously. And so no matter how many tasks we have, we actually can prioritize these top 5 tasks that we should do in first run, and the other tasks that should be done later, and this will not really hurt the productivity. So we'll leave the links to this as well in the description section, and you can read about that.
Yeah, and another thing that I've heard about Warren Buffett about this strategy, about this technique, is that some people say that it also can be phrased in a way that, well, if you have 25 goals and you find 5 of them the most important and you want to prioritize them above all the rest, it means that these 5 are really your goals and the rest are your distractions that distract you from reaching that 5 things that you wrote
and you
at
can
the
go
top
back
of the
to
list.
them like at any given time, so that's not as important.
We cannot spread too thin, because if you try to do a lot of things at the same time, you cannot succeed as well at all of the things as you could on the 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 of those things. And for a day, for example, I know that day is not as much as a year. It's not doesn't last that long, unfortunately, but what you could do is to write like a number to make this number smaller, write 10 tasks and try and decide which 3 tasks of these 10 are the most important and kind of stick to them for this given day. Okay, also, I know that we've thought about the 2-minute strategy, right? It's like a procrastination tip. And I know a lot of people struggle with that, especially when it's time to finally start working, but you're not really feeling like it. You're not like feeling like working. So this is why, or maybe exercising as well, another I feel like another thing a lot of people can relate to, right? When you're like, okay, I will need to go and do like an hour of working out, or like go for a run for a mile or for 10 kilometers or something. So what's the 2-minute rule? What is that?
I actually didn't read a lot about that, so I can't say, but maybe you
I
can.
mean, come on. Okay. So the 2-minute thing is what I remember about it from my own experience. I always tried it for some time ago. And the idea is that you kind of trying to trick yourself that, okay, what I'm going to do is just do this thing for 2 minutes. Not really, doesn't really apply to work, but for exercising. Like, okay, I'm going to do squats for 2 minutes, do squats for 2 minutes. Or I really have a lot of reading to do. I really have a lot of documents to go through, and I just hate it. I just hate working with documents, hate working with papers, and like, okay, I will do this like 2 minutes every hour, and okay, it will go easier. First of all, what holds you back from actually starting to work on a task is that kind of your mind feels like there's a lot of work to do. It's really a lot of work to do, and it's going to last hours of the work that you hate. And the 2-minute rule actually does help you start doing these tasks, because you kind of trick your mind into, okay, the suffering is not going to last that long. It won't be 2 minutes.
It'll be over soon.
Yeah. I'll be doing this for 2 minutes every hour or something like that. And then after you start, you feel like, okay, it's not that bad. I'm actually getting into it. I'm actually getting the flow. And okay, this actually helps you start, and from that point it kind of gets easier. So it's sort of a little trick. Might not work for all sorts of tasks, but like a good thing to try if you're really struggling with getting things started.
Yeah, I guess that's good.
And I feel like we are actually discussed everything we planned.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, guys, I really thank you for staying to the end of the video, this quarantine talks or this kind of thing. We're all together in this, and if you feel like you have something valuable to share, or maybe not valuable, maybe like just something to share, something for fun, or just because you want to share it, just please do in the comment section down below. We're always reading the comments, and if you leave some sort of tips, some sort of life experience, some sort of recommendations, some useful links, all of the people who watch these videos and we as well will be very, very grateful to you. So
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thank you for discussing. This has been interesting. This has been fun, and we'll continue talking about remote work and the productivity issues and productivity tools that can actually help you cope with all of the challenges presented to your work by these new conditions that we're living in. So have fun with us, stay with us, and we'll talk more about this.
Yeah, by the way, in the next episodes, we're planning to talk about the actual tool set that's going to help you, take your remote workflow to a next level, like really boost your productivity, boost your also teamwork efforts and all that kind of stuff. And there will be actual links to actual tools that we've used and our coworkers have used and our friends have used, and we got a ton of recommendations of these tools, and they're all available online, so we have no problem getting one for yourself and trying this out. And also there will be a lot of interesting stuff coming on the channel, so if you're not subscribed yet, just consider checking out other content on the channel and consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell to get notified about our new videos. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
See you.
Thank you for watching, and see you.